Hey there, welcome to story time. I want to share a story about Jubilee and my time in that show. My very favorite number in the entire show was the disco number. It was feathers upon feathers of crazy amazingness, and I loved it as a bluebell, as a tall nude, as a short nude, as a principal dancer. I loved every aspect of it, every bit of choreography. The only line I didn't get to dance was line 4, which actually was okay because those girls worked their butts off. And some of their costumes were a little smaller and more pared down because they danced so hard. So this hat actually was inspired by the colors of disco, and this is I call this hat the behemoth. This color yellow is actually the color yellow that Jubilee used. I used to get my feathers from American Plume and Fancy Feather, which unfortunately is no longer around, sadly. But they used to do all the feathers for Jubilee, and they used their samples to make these yellow feathers for me. So I'm super excited to have a piece of Jubilee history in my costume closet. But disco, it was my favorite. There were so many things about it. The choreography, even though the choreography was so crazy, the choreography was done by Rich Rizzo, and it was really funky but so fun. It felt sexy and flirty, and just it was just my favorite number. And of course we called it disco because they took the song "There's No Business Like Show Business" and turned it into a disco song, and it was sexy, and I just loved it so much. I started off as a bluebell, which is one of the covered showgirls. Those girls, they got to wear the really yellow, I think they were about 3 feet tall, hats with big cuffs that had, I think, 6 boas. This hat right here has 6 boas, and these boas are 8 ply. I believe the feathers that Jubilee used were 10 to 12 ply. So they weren't messing around. They had a lot of extra and fluff to them. So disco, I started off as a bluebell, and then I went into being a tall nude because one of the girls left the show unexpectedly, and I was promoted to being a tall nude, which meant our topless line. And I was not one of the tall girls. I was actually the shortest tall nude. I am about 5'9", a little bit tiny bit shy of 5'9", and the tallest girl in the room was 6'3". So I felt like a shrimp, and the girl that actually left was 6'3", and they gave me her costume to wear. So I got to wear this massive backpack and hat, and that was a lot of fun. I did that for about 9 months, and then they put me in a more suitable nude line, the short nudes. I was one of the taller of the short nudes, so I felt a little bit more in place there in that I belonged. And that disco line was very aerobic as well, and their hats were very lion-esque. They had a lot of coke feathers, and they also had cuffs, but it was a different kind of movement. So they started the whole number with the principal, the white principal showgirl, and they kind of started this wild, crazy, fun time, and then all the feathers for all of the nudes came down, and it was just an amazing time. So after I was in the show for a little bit, I started doing some understudy spots, and one of the first understudy spots they let me learn was Black Principal Disco, and that actually is my favorite costume of the entire show. If I had my own Pete Menefee Black Disco costume, I would be in heaven. It is just the most fun backpack to wear, and it was one of the lightest backpacks made, but it had so much movement, and it was very sexy, and even in of course the choreography was especially sexy because it was all pheasant feathers. They used 3 different types of feathers, but the most prominent feather in that backpack was the pheasant feather. Yeah, and it was just so much fun to wear and to dance in. And once I was promoted to principal, one of the last numbers for me to learn was white principal disco. I was told that I would learn it eventually, and 3 weeks into my first principal contract, I was told that I needed to learn it between shows today, and you'll be doing it tomorrow. So I learned it, and I got to learn it from Linda Green, which was amazing because it was her number before I was promoted, and it was actually the number that I got to perform or dance very first thing, my audition for Jubilee that Linda Green taught. And so I learned it in between shows, and the next day they threw me in, and I did it first and second show. And I came downstairs from doing it the second time, and Fluff came into the dressing room and said, "Nice job. White disco is yours." So it was really cool. I was very shocked and impressed because that is my favorite number to perform. It's very, very aerobic, very sexy, very I miss dancing it. And it was just, the first thing they see is the white principal disco ass, and it was just a beautiful thing. So that is the whole of disco. That was my experience with disco. The costumes were designed by Pete Menefee, and a lot of my hat designs come from that number specifically, inspiration from Pete's costumes. So stay tuned for more Jubilee Showgirl stories from me about my experience being a Las Vegas Showgirl. Talk to you soon. Bye.